From gardening to animals to extreme renovations, welcome to Homesteading at College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Today we're trimming my grape arbor. Today we've got a 4-year-old grape arbor. I started out with the arbor. You saw me reinforce it in the last video. I added a third wire. I started out with 2 wires because that's all you need for the first 3 years. But now I'm going to try and explain a few things as I go. Now what's happened is I have primary vines on this wire, and I have 2 of them. Well, I don't want to have 2 primary vines on a wire. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to figure out which one of these it would be easier to release, and I'm going to bring it up to this upper wire. So I think, in looking at this lower one, then I'm going to show you what I do to trim it. Alright, and it's got stuff all wound up in it. Of course it does. We'll try and pull it loose without damaging it. Now the thing about it is, when you prune grapes, being gentle is not necessarily a good thing. Okay, what have I got here? That's coming from that vine. It's coming right up through here, right there. And it's wrapped right there, and I'm gonna cut it loose. Now it puts out these little tendrils, and they are tough to maneuver around. And might I break this cane? I might just break it. Who knows? I'm going to try not to, and I'm going to try not to damage it too bad, or the ones around it. There's another tendril. Okay, and here's a tendril. There's a tendril. Now, I've got this grapevine loose. So what I want to do is I want to get it on this upper wire. And in order to do that, I need to come back here closer to the main vine and pull it up. And I'll tie it off. And I'll show you what I use to tie it in just a second. Let me get now. All you have to do to tie these up is you come back, and I just use a cotton twine, a cotton butcher twine. It comes in a roll, in a ball, and if you just put it in your pocket, it rolls out of the center, so you've always got it handy. So I'll pull it up here and tie this. I'll tie it back here. Now this tying is only to have to be done once generally, because the grapevine will put out its own tendrils and tighten up. Okay, cut that off. Come out here, do it again. And this cotton butcher twine is not going to damage the vine. And by this spring, it'll be rot. By this fall, it'll be so rotten that it'll just break right off. And I'm not tying it tight. I'm leaving a good finger's width between the tie and the vine. Okay. And cut it off. And then I'll tie one more out here. Not tight. Now, once that grape vine is tied up, what I want to do to trim it, and it's going to look like I do bad, but now if you've got muscadines, they don't trim this way, okay? I don't grow muscadines. I've never grown muscadines. I don't know how to trim them, but I do know how to trim these. So what you want to do, you've got this main vine that you want to come out. And any of these secondary vines, see how this one's up here? I want to give it 1, 2, 3 nodes and then just cut that off. Same thing with this one. 1, 2, 3 nodes and come up past the node about 1 inch and cut it off. Now I'm going to do that 1, 2, 3 on this entire grapevine. And just this one little vine has given me a possibility of 8 or 9 grapevines. So that's the way you do it. It's going to look tough. But prune your grapes. Don't be afraid to prune them, because they'll reward you with more grapes. If you don't prune them, you won't get nearly as many grapes. You got to prune them. I'm going to go ahead and get at this and pull some of these up and let them be running on the new runner. But some of these that are down here on this runner that are going to stay, see, I'm going to do it the same way. 1, 2, 3. Prune it. And 1, 2, 3. And prune it. It needs to be pulled back up there. And 1, 2, 3, and prune. So when I get done, it'll look like pretty much like there's just 3 or 4 vines with little stickers, with little 3-pronged sticks sticking up, and that's what it ought to look like. This is March the 18th. I should have done this in February, but I just didn't get the time. Some other things were going on, so I've got this whole grape arbor to do this way, and I'll come back to you and let you see what it looks like. Okay folks, I want to take this opportunity to take just a little bit of time to give you a little better view of what I'm working on. What I've got right here, this is one grapevine. It's actually 2. One's over here, and then on the other side of the post there's another one. And what I'm actually trying to do is I'm trying to get this such that there's a major cane, a major vine on each of the wires. There's 3 wires here. Now, this is the 4th year, so they're not a major cane to be put up here on top. So I've taken a couple of small ones, and some of them might die. So I've done more than one. I've taken a couple small ones and put those up there. But now, these other ones, and I was telling you about trimming. Now, where these other canes are, they put off these side shoots, like this one. Okay, it's a long side shoot. Now, what you want to do is, you want to come up on this side shoot right here, and go, there's a node, and a node, and a node. I try and leave 3 nodes, and I cut off about 1 inch above that node. Now, why do I do that? Well, what this does is, by cutting this off, it forces this to put out a new branch, not leaves. Normally, what this is going to put out is leaves, but by cutting it off, I've forced it to put out a branch. And wherever a branch starts, that's where a grape pod is started. Okay? So, in order to get these what you want to come through and cut all of these that are sticking out, cut them back till there's just 3 nodes. And it looks like you're cutting your grapes all to pieces. But you're going to create air space down in there, and you're going to make more places for grapes to grow. Okay, and that's what it takes in order to get your grapevines pruned up. Now, when I first started, this was a tangled mess. Now you can see that there are only a few major canes. Then, major, I call them canes because I'm so used to trimming blackberries and raspberries. There are only 2 major vines, going to be 3, but all of the little ones have been cut off after there's 3 nodules. And every one of those little ones that was cut off, there's one I missed. Every one of those little ones that are cut off will make a pod of grapes, generally about 3 pods, because I leave 3 nodules. Okay, I've got my grapevines done. It took me about an hour and a half. I've got 10 vines. I added another wire, and then I trimmed them all and pulled everything up on the wires. Now, I noticed this morning, this is my 133rd video on YouTube, and I noticed this morning I had 802 subscribers. My subscriber count goes up and down. You know, I don't know what that means, but it goes up and down. Got 802 subscribers. I'd like to thank you all for coming along with me on this journey. Do I do everything exactly right? No. Some of y'all are not going to agree with some of the things that I do. I do things that I've known for 30 years, and some things I learned on YouTube, okay, that I'm trying for the first time. For example, when I get done with this, I'm going to go back and see if I can root these grapes in a pail of, in a jug of water. I saw that done for cuttings, and I thought I'd give it a shot. I know how to root them another way too, but I'm not in a big hurry to get another grape arbor. I do want to get another one. This grape arbor last year gave me 110, or not 110. This is a 100-foot grape arbor with 10 plants on it, 10 vines. It gave me 6 gallons of grapes, and they were in their 3rd year. So I expect that this year I should get quite a few more. Of course, I've added the top string, but that won't put out many grapes until next year. So if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe and hit the bell. It'll let you know when our videos come out, and it's time for me to get on to the next thing.